doing wicked music, Ataman Nikita. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us in the studio. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Ataman Nikita.
Yes, Lantam.
Our names are rhyming.
Yes.
Yeah, Ataman Nikita.
And Lantam.
Yes. So I mean, you're half
Russian
Russian
and half Ghanaian.
and half Ghanaian.
Yes. From Upper East.
From the Upper East region.
Yeah.
Tell us about your Ghanaian roots.
Well, my father is from the northern part of Ghana, the Upper East region.
Yeah.
Specifically Bongo district.
Bongo district.
And the community is called Bongo Soin.
Bongo Soin.
Bongo Soin, yes.
That's where you're
and the
from.
specific sub-community is called Yidongo.
Yidongo.
That's like specific clan area that we're
That
from.
you come from.
Yes.
Yidongo.
Yidongo in
Wha-
Bongo Soin. In
Right.
Bongo district,
What
yeah.
language do you speak there?
Well, they speak Gurune there. Gurune.
Gurune.
Yes, or
You-
what we typically call Frafra. in
Frafra.
Ghana.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
But Frafra is normally referred to the group of languages, the Talensin, Nabdam,
Right.
Gurune, and so on.
Right.
So there's the combination of languages. So the white man used to combine it, or the Akans used to combine it as one because we are smaller tribes. But we're actually a bit different. There are differences in the languages. Yeah.
So that's where your father
father
comes
is
from. So
from,
that's
yeah.
your Ghanaian roots.
That's my paternal roots, yes.
I see. And what about your Russian side?
Well, my mother is from Russia. I grew up in Russia for a bit. Actually, the history is that my father got the Russian scholarship
Okay.
back in the Soviet support days.
Right.
And he went to Russia to study, met my mother.
Right.
The rest is history.
The rest is history, and you are here.
I'm here, and my brother here.
I see.
So we're the product of that.
So, how did music come to you?
I guess it's there's a two-part answer to that. First of all, I don't like to say genetically, but familially, from the family, because my grandmother was into music professionally.
Right.
She was working in bands and stuff. And then we had instruments around the house. When I was growing up, I learned how to play a few instruments when I was growing up, in Russia especially. And even in Ghana, when I remember when I was going to Catholic church as a kid, I had to learn how to play the piano, try to learn how to play because I had a little bit of background in piano. I tried to learn to play the organ
Right.
in the Catholic church. So I
Right.
did a bit of that, but I wasn't too serious about it, honestly. So I backed out. But music has been a constant part of my life for those reasons, because I had kind of been raised with the consciousness of music, the connection to music
Right.
on a daily basis. And I guess we used to sing all the time. When
What's-
you are in trouble, you always sing to get the troubles away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's your genre of music?
It's hard to say. Right now, the way music is splitting and cutting and dicing
Yeah,
into
music
so many
is
different genres.
it's everywhere. It's all
hard
over
to
the
put
place.
yourself
A
in one
fusion of
area.
everything.
Yeah, fusion of everything.
Yeah.
So you can't really say you're in one place, but for legal reasons,
Yeah.
and financial reasons, you also always have to.
Yeah.
Because the awards will not pick you if you are all
If-
over the
yeah,
place.
if-
So you have to put yourself in one place. My voice, I'm a singer.
Right.
So my voice is really a singing voice. So I'm more of an R&B soul singer, but
Okay.
Afropop kind of fits into that.
Right.
Because you can easily switch between Afropop and R&B. So I'm pretty much R&B Afropop. That's where I fit currently in the current diaspora. And what I'm doing right now, I'm doing more of R&B and Afropop. I did a bit of hip-hop before, did some rapping. That was more of underground stuff when my brother and I were coming up in the
Right.
university days. Yeah, but now it's more of R&B Afropop.
Right. So,
Yeah.
what influences your music? Where do you
First of
draw
all-
inspiration from? What are the various,
From other musicians,
influences?
Obviously, people that came before you, in anything, any endeavor that you take part in, anybody that came before you has already set a certain standard. You always try to break it, just like your parents do when they set standards for you by how far they have reached in their life. You kind of try to go beyond that. So music has been always an inspiration because I like so many different genres of music.
Right.
I like music that has lyrics. I like music that has no lyrics. So I'm very eclectic in that sense.
Right.
So I get inspired by everything in terms of music and everyday life. Sometimes you just see something, you hear something, you feel something. You have to put it down or you have to let it out. And one of the best ways to do it is music.
So, what do you sing about usually?
Life in general. I think the biggest topic, people might argue, but the most cross-cutting topic in almost all music is love. Even though you sing about hate, it's really lack of love that you're singing about.
Yeah.
Even though you're singing about money, it's the love of money that you're thinking about.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about a woman, it's love for that woman.
Yeah.
So very often is love, lack of love, and variations of that. And then on an extension of that, maybe life. Life in general is
So
kind of, it takes you up and down, gives you something to think about.
Yeah.
So why not think about that?
Yeah, and life encompasses everything essentially.
Everything.
So
Even not only my life, people, things you see around.
Yeah.
Somebody's life is going good, praise it.
is that
Somebody's
how
life
you
is going
draw
bad.
some of your inspirations,
Yeah.
to some of
Yeah.
the lyrics of your music?
Absolutely.
Do situations happen
Absolutely.
that just turn into a song?
Absolutely.
Take us through your creative process, in putting a
It
song
varies.
together,
It
coming up with the
varies. It
lyrics.
varies.
Take us through some of it.
The lyrics, sometimes you are going through something in life,
Yeah.
you walk into the studio and the instrumental is so impacting to you that like they literally pull your strings.
Right.
And they say, tug at your heart, they say, think about this. This song is sad, the instrumental is sad. The intonation in the key is low, is sad, is maybe a minor key. So you feel sad, therefore you might think about something sad, therefore you might be writing about something sad, about depression, about something bad going on in your life, somebody's life, about what's going on about the world
Right.
that is bad. Or you might just be thinking about something specific and you say, I have to write a song about this, and you coin the lyrics, and then the instrumentals might come and you mold it around that. So sometimes the processes are different. And it's very important for me personally as an artist to be able to come from either direction. I
Right.
can come from the instrumental direction or come from the a cappella direction. Just come up with the sound, sing it, and let the person who makes the instrumental build the instrumental around it. Sometimes it's helpful to do both. You're not stuck in one process.
Right.
And
So it's not like you're put in a box.
Exactly.
And this is the only way
that I can
that
make
you're able
music,
to
you
make
know.
music.
I wouldn't
So
like
you're getting
that
inspiration from all
anywhere.
kinds of places.
Yes. In fact, I have probably hundreds of freestyles and things ideas that are on my phones and broken phones, and I will never get back because I'm just sitting there and something comes in my head. And
Then
I
you just
sing
you
it,
just sing
I
it and
record
you just put it
Another
put
time,
it up.
I record it. Then when I have a chance, I go through them. I'm like, oh, this is nice. Let me drop it here.
Yeah.
And let me try and make it something
Yeah.
of it. So when the time is there, it's so much fulfillment.
Can you
when
tell
do
us
that.
about maybe one song and where you got inspiration for that song from, and the process you went through to come out with a song?
Okay, I'll go for my more recent songs. For example, the Enigma song, which has just been released.
Yeah.
Is the,
And we'll
it
talk
was
about the
released.
Enigma
We'll talk
song.
about
I
it,
wanted
yes.
us to save that one for later.
Okay, so should I talk about my future song?
Let's
There's
talk
one
about
coming
that.
up, which is actually the next song coming up is coming out at the end of the month. It's called Beauty Queen.
Beauty Queen.
Beauty
At the end
Queen.
of the month, you're releasing that.
releasing this
I already
one.
like the
So,
title of the
yes,
song.
and,
Beauty Queen.
Actually, it is dedicated to my wife,
Okay.
but it's dedicated to all women, really. And hopefully, when the video comes out, it will speak to that. So really,
So we can safely say your wife is the inspiration for that
my
song.
wife is the inspiration for that. My wife is my beauty queen.
Right.
You understand? And she has fulfilled my life in so many ways, has taken off the load by thinking about certain things that you don't have to think about as somebody who's trying to do certain things for your family. And I do that for her, she does that for me. So having that partnership is very important. So she's my beauty queen, and she has provided me with my children.
Yeah.
And hopefully more to come. So, and I also think that beauty, even though the song's lyrics are not exactly encompassing what I want to say, but I wanted to say it in the simplest way possible without beating around the bush.
Yeah. Going straight to the point.
Going straight to the point.
Yeah.
So when you hear the song, eventually you will love it. But that song is really about different aspects of beauty. You don't have to think about beauty in the physical sense on the
So there's the
even though
outward
the
beauty,
song kind of speaks about fashion
and then there is
catwalk.
and then there's the inner beauty as
Every
well.
day you see on the street when you're
Yeah.
in your Uber and you're going to work, in your
Yeah.
trotro, in your taxi, you
Yeah.
see ladies
see it.
walking around, and you see
Yeah.
beautiful ladies.
Yeah.
You see people,
Yeah.
beautiful men, beautiful ladies walking around doing their thing, living life. And we need to appreciate that. Sometimes we tend to shut down people just because they are missing something. Something is not there in their life, on their appearance, on their performance. But we need to appreciate them for what they are as at now. They will become better just by virtue of you saying you are good.
So you're thinking about all of these things, and the song is
Absolutely.
just coming to you,
Yeah.
right? And,
Yeah,
and you are
absolutely.
putting it together,
Absolutely.
and then you are releasing it,
Yeah.
and that's quite the interesting creative process, that you go through. And I just love how artists are able to draw inspiration from from anything and everything, and then it turns to a song. I just love that creative process. How would you
Appreciate that.
describe it? Is it a difficult process to go through? putting it together? You know, when you have the idea. Let's say I'm having a conversation with you right now and I say something and it's thought provoking and you feel like, okay, this could become a song. Or maybe you're walking down the street and you see all of these beautiful women all around and, you know, it inspires you to do a song like you've just explained to us. When you are putting it together, you know, is it a difficult process? Or does it come to you easy because at heart you are an artist?
That would also depend. It depends on whether I'm recording it myself.
Right.
Whether I'm working with somebody, a producer who has everything set up and is ready for me, because everybody operates at a different level, at a different speed. There are some producers, you walk into their studios, they will play 2 or 3 instrumentals because they have worked with me, they might know the instrumental I would like.
Yeah.
So they don't play many. By the time they get to 1 or 2, I know this is what I want.
You know this is what you want, yeah.
They turn on the mic and I try something. I might sit there for 5, 15 minutes, maybe an hour. Some songs I would have to listen to the instrumental for some time and get a bit of an inspiration that links the lyrics to the instrumental.
Right.
Because if you just kind of try to force it, it might not sound that good to me. It might sound okay to somebody, but not so good. So I don't feel fulfilled doing that song as much. So sometimes that is where the problem comes.
The
when
difficulty.
the energy is not there, when you're not 100% invested. Because look, life is difficult for everybody. For everybody. Nobody has it easy. I mean, politicians might have it easy, but I tell you, they are sleeping at night wondering when is the next robber coming to their house. I'm telling you. So it's not easy for anybody, even for the person who we expect that it's easy for them.
Right.
So I think that sometimes we need to take the stress off, and this is one of the ways I do that. I take the stress off because I have a job. I have a full-time job.
Oh, you do have a full-time job?
Yes.
That's
so
interesting.
it's
What do you do?
I'm a network administrator at the Technical University, Bolgatanga Technical University.
Wow. You're the network administrator there.
Yeah.
How are you balancing doing that and also doing music?
Not easy. In fact, I'm only now releasing my first single. Came out last month.
Last month. That's Enigma, right?
And it came out last month mainly because not that it was delayed for so long, but because I didn't want to put my feet and my head all in to the music process.
Not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, because I was kind of committed to this job, to this life. I have a family, so I had that to settle. Once that was settled, I think I have free reins to now do this.
So does that speak to difficulties within the Ghana music industry, especially for an artist
to an extent
who is doing your kind of music and coming from your area, right? I mean, people have said that if you're an artist and you want to succeed, you know, you don't have to maybe come down south and try and cut your teeth here, you know, and all of that. How would you describe the Ghana music scene in that regard, in your experience?
What you are saying is true to an extent. It's true definitely for any artist who is coming to be an artist and only an artist.
Yeah.
That is all his life. So he's going to hustle and be an artist. You would have to go where there are more opportunities so that you can be closer to the opportunities.
Closer
because
to
if
the
you
action.
Stay where you are, the opportunities are not there. So
Right.
you have to come and hustle in Accra, Kumasi, or wherever that is chance. But that is also where we have the problems. And it goes for any creative and non-traditional profession, like sports, like artists and artistry. People are always looking down on it in a way. So it is not very well handled in the professional field. So people don't really go to school to become a musician. It's not common, at least in our diaspora. And it's been frowned upon even. Ontology and things like that.
Unless you have a talent and then you begin to nurture the talent,
so
and then it turns into something
you realize
big.
that as a kid you play a violin, so your parents will still make you become a medical doctor.
Yeah, even though you play the violin.
You play a violin. They won't send you to a medical school to become an orchestra conductor or become a professional violinist, and you'll be making thousands of dollars per performance. No. So that is, but it's also fair on the parent side to think that way because they know that you are guaranteed a job when you're a doctor. So the balance is very difficult. So that's why sometimes as young artists, we also need to understand that it's easier to do art when you are younger because that is when you are most energetic, when you have the most energy, the most vim, the most charisma, you are learning yourself, you have the most fearlessness to jump into where you wouldn't jump when you are like my age and be like, Charlie, let me take my time and see, I have family. So you have to balance
mouths to feed.
Mouths to feed.
Yes.
I can't just jump off the cliff.
So it's not easy being an artist in the country, is it?
It's a commitment that you have to, because you are exposing yourself to the world.
Right.
In fact, I respect artists who have been able to, any kind of artist, musician or actor, who has been able to be very successful in the industry, but at the same time stay out of the industry from too much of a public eye.
Yeah.
Because that keeps your family and your sanity to yourself. Because social media will take you apart for no reason.
And speaking of social media, recently, let me ask you this. I mean, you're a musician, right? So, Buju Banton, we know Buju Banton. He's been talking about Afrobeats and this new wave of Afrobeats and all of that, and he's not too enthused about it. He says that Afrobeats, it's not very good music. It's not too conscious. It's not very good music. Where do you stand on that?
First of all, it's an opinion. So I don't begrudge anybody of their opinion. Just like I wouldn't argue with I wouldn't understand why a Muslim would argue with a Christian, because you have different belief systems. So what the basis on which you're even arguing and your arguments are based on are completely ideologically, technically different, even though some will argue it's the same foundation.
So when he says that, Afrobeats is uninspiring and it doesn't raise the hope of Africans,
that specific statement, I can't agree with.
That's what he says. That's what Buju Banton says. He says that
with Afrobeats specifically,
it's uninspiring and it doesn't raise the hope of Africans. That's what he says.
On the larger scale, it's kind of true.
Really?
It's kind of true. It's just the same way that people used to beat down hip hop in the beginning. It's nothing but violence and drugs and money and, excuse my language, naked women and stuff like that. I don't want to use the explicit words on the radio this early morning. But it's inappropriate. So they say it's bad. Although a lot of the lyrics were actually talking against those things.
Right.
And kind of being cynical about it. So I agree with what he says to an extent, because majority of the music you hear is like, okay, what are they really talking about? Are they changing anybody's lives? But you have to say, you can't do that all the time. Even me, if I say I'm making conscious music, you make me a conscious artist
all the time.
I can't be conscious all the time.
Yeah.
I have to make one or two songs that people will be like, oh,
that are fun.
Feel it. I feel it. I want to move. It's necessary.
Right.
It's necessary because people want to do that.
So let's talk about Enigma. And that's your single, right?
Yeah.
So what's the inspiration behind the song?
Well, it's literally my coming out song. I'm coming into the industry. I'm officially announcing myself as an artist. I'm officially saying I'm releasing songs. I'm an artist. I'm going to be trying to fulfill my fans' expectations.
Right.
So
you just gained a fan.
I am unknown as I'm coming out.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows who is this man. Who is this young man?
But they'll get to know you.
But they'll get to know me. So I'm unknown, therefore, Enigma.
Right. Yeah. Well, you just gained a fan here. Thank you. And thank you for joining us in the studio. Ataman
Nikita. And Lantam.
So before we wrap this up, what would you like to say finally as we're wrapping this up?
Well, I would like everyone to visit our social media handles.
Right.
Isolarium is our label. So you can go to all platforms to look for Isolarium, ISOLI.
Isolarium.
Yes, Isolarium.
Isolarium.
Yes, and Ataman Nikita is my name. You can check me out. Make sure you check out Dr. Pushkin as well. And shout out to, of course, Bishop's JSS back in Tamale, my old school. St. John's Preparatory, my old school in Accra here. UDS in Navrongo, my old school as well. I attended there for a bit. Prempeh College, my alma mater.
Hey.
I'm out for. That's the last.
I'm out for in the building. I'm out for in the building.
Shout out to everybody and Hit me up on the social media.
So on social media, are you Ataman
Nikita.
Ataman Nikita?
At all platforms.
All platforms.
All
Facebook,
platforms,
X,
yes.
Instagram.
That's right.
TikTok.
That's right. TikTok.
Snapchat?
I have to. Snapchat, I'm still getting there. I'm catching up. I have to keep up with so many platforms. It's not easy.
All right. So thank you very much, Ataman Nikita, for passing through. He has announced his arrival onto the Ghana music scene, and you're going to be hearing a lot more from Ataman Nikita. So get onto his socials. Let's support his music.
Cheers.
And
Cheers.
this is Enigma.